One of the most interesting things about designing Dune was solving the stillsuit. You know, the stillsuit is the essential, central thing of the movie. And to me, it seemed that it should have a sort of futuristic, aboriginal quality. So they were almost tribal. And every single suit was handmade.
We had to do body casts from which we made fiberglass forms. And then from there, we would draw the pattern in chalk on the unitard and start cutting from the patterns of each foam rubber section, laid them on one by one until we got all the understructure built, including the tubing. We would brush coat it then with a thick latex and then spray coat it with another thinner latex for a final seal. At that point, put it in an oven where it would just kind of help the latex dry.
The women had to obviously have breasts rather than sort of pecs. And so I did a sort of a female version, and we did children's versions of it too.
They were really quite comfortable. Until, of course, you got them out of the hot sun in the desert, at 110 degrees, and started running around and fighting battles and sweating in them. I think down in Mexico, they would call them the death suits.
Max von Sydow was standing there in the desert hot, and his fingertips were dripping sweat, and I asked him if he was comfortable, and was it all okay, and he said, no, it's absolute hell, but it looks so good, I'll put up with it. And it was, that's how they felt about it. All the men had the body they'd never had, they had got muscle suddenly, so they loved it. And I was determined that the stillsuit was going to be very sexy. There were a lot of sexy clothes in that movie that never hit the screen. Francesca wore a wonderful nightdress. It was dripping in sort of squares and dissolved into silk, and you could see her body. But, I mean, she was shot covered in a cheap cotton sheet, and I could have killed everybody.
A lot of the work that we did, you just don't see. There were costumes that we made which didn't even make it onto the screen.
We made 2,000 costumes with hats.
David decided he didn't want the Fremen to have these headdresses, so they never appeared.
You put all this work into it, and a fraction shows. But I think overall, you can tell the richness, that there was a lot of work there. So, I feel very proud that I worked on it.